Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. And it's time for the return of the March of the Clowns. A slightly belated month-long special of clown movies, because teenagers being chased down by deranged killers with kitchen knives gets kind of old after a while. That is, unless said killer is decked out head to toe in carnival attire. Which brings us to today's review of Stitches, starring Ross Noble as Stitches the Clown. And as the Blu-ray box denotes, he is a bad clown. And they do mean that in every way possible. As Stitches is a pretty crap performer, failing to entertain children of all ages. However, after his last party goes foul, he returns years later to exact revenge on the little bastards, one by one, in horror comedy fashion. So I could have just summarized the last minute by just saying it's a horror comedy starring clown. So let's take a look at Stitches and see what holds it all together. After a little spooky music and ominous visuals, the story proper begins like any film should.
Fuck me, clown! Fuck me, clown! Fuck me, clown! Fuck me, clown!
With world building, character introductions, and show don't tell exposition. Truly fine art. Not to downplay the artistry of the mysterious egg painted with Stitch's face, which he says is just some weird thing he had to do when he became a clown. Ah, well, no more time to fuck around. He's got to go perform at a kid's birthday party. That kid being Tom, and the partygoers consisting of his rather unique circle of friends. Tits. I like tits. God damn, is that going to become another catchphrase?
Oi, you two! Not in the house!
Go to hell!
Yeah, I don't want him playing ball in the living room. That could be dangerous. Almost as dangerous as inviting that clown over who damn near kills the kids within the first 5 minutes of the movie. But that would be far too short and disturbing. Instead, he gets paid and begins the show. Not that it goes much better, to be honest.
Is everybody happy?
You're an asshole, you big dumb clown.
Alright then, kids. For my next trick, I'm gonna disappear. Where the fuck are my keys? While that would be understandable at this point, Stitches the Clown, played by Ross Noble, keeps the show going. However, the kids decide to make their own fun, tying the jokester's shoelaces together.
Yeah! Finally, this clown does something good.
And Sam's mother just left the dishwasher open with the big fucking chef's knife pointed up just in case there was any chance that this day could maybe end in horrifying accidents and death. Realizing he's not getting up, the kids gather around the comedic carcass, realizing, hey, this is probably not how the show is supposed to end. However, the clown gets back up. Big fucking knife in the face be damned. This scares most of the kids, but Tom sticks around long enough for Stitches to yank the knife out and bleed all over the kid, just in case he wasn't traumatized enough. You bastard! So that's what it looks like to roll a 1 on your attack. Thus, the clown's fucking dead, and Tom's not feeling all that chipper about it. Seeing that Stitches has been buried in the local graveyard, he heads down there after the funeral. However, he then hears strange noises coming from the local mausoleum. Looking inside, he discovers a peculiar ritual involving shitloads of clowns and Stitch's egg. Of course, he is soon discovered, so the fools can exposit the backbone of the plot to the kid.
A clown that doesn't finish a party can never rest in peace.
Well, yeah, but unless the party was supposed to end with him murdering all the kids, I don't see how that's gonna fix it.
And the joke is never as funny the second time round.
No, but it is necessary. The first time is to establish the joke, and the second time is to hammer home the rules of the joke, so when the third time comes around, you can flip it on its head and make a new joke out of it. You'd think a clown would know these things. After this horrifying nightmare, Tom wakes up 6 years later. Now he's being played by Tom Knight. It's been almost exactly 6 years, in fact, as when his mother, played by Valerie Spellman, is heading off for a business trip this weekend, there is just one thing Tom is concerned with.
You're not going to be here for my birthday.
What, you little shit?
Well, you're turning 6 fucking teen. Now's about as good a time as any to grow the fuck up. She tells him that he can have a friend over or something, but Tom's not all that social since watching a clown die horribly in his kitchen. He's tormented by visions of clowns, taking Nightmare on Elm Street brand Hypnosil to calm his mind. No bother, on his way to school, we can rattle off all the friends and who plays them. There's Bulger, the flamboyant and rotund, played by Thomas Kane Byrne, Vinny, the libidinous, played by Shane Murray Cochran, Richie, the voyeur, played by Ilgan McQuinn, Kate, the love interest, played by Gemma Leah Devroe, and of course, her love interest, Dan, the bandman, played by Tommy Cullen.
So you're gonna get a phone? Ring me, maybe?
I've got a phone. I've got 3 phones.
You're supposed to ring me around 8.
Well, I was busy.
Yeah, obviously, listening to your solos.
But you see, the girl Tom likes may already be in a relationship, but it's with an asshole. Therefore, if Tom can just slip in there and tell her how nice of a guy he really is, don't do that. That is a terrible plan. It never ends well. Just don't. But we haven't even finished rattling off all the side characters. There's also Sarah, the Countess, played by Razin Baron, and her boyfriend Paul, the douche, played by Hugh Mulhern. They establish they exist and are antagonistic. Before we move on, here's another one. Mary, played by Lorna Dempsey.
Have you seen Monster Munch Mary?
Yeah, she hasn't been Monster Munch Mary since last summer. She went to boot camp and took a massive shit or something.
Who evidently was quite large before. We never see that, but now she's smoking hot, and thus, Vinny has his horny eyes set on her. It's like the opposite of a redemption arc. Also, in case you haven't noticed, things have really slowed down in the movie. I'm used to films opening up with a bang, then to move on to a slow burn, but this, it just went straight into the fire extinguisher. I mean, they do bring up a few scares here and there, but most are short-lived and don't really matter anyway. At the very least, their one in the classroom does go on for quite a while and is goddamn entertaining. The teacher transforms into a clown via freaky-deaky psychotic visions and rips Vinny's dick right off! In impressively gruesome fashion, tying it to a balloon just out of his reach.
Give me it back!
Your time is up, Tom.
Your time is up. Please, hand up your papers.
Plot-wise, this means nothing for the story, but it is a way to make this section of the story more entertaining, and boy, howdy did it do its job. I mean, outside of crazy horror visions, we just have high school to watch. Yay. The fact that Tom has his house free for the weekend does make its rounds, and his birthday being on said weekend, but he doesn't want to throw a party or anything like that, despite how much his friends want to.
Vinny? Richie? Bulger. Holy shit, it's on. It's on!
Until he does, that is. Vinny convinced him because, hey, Kate is probably going to break up with a boyfriend pretty soon, and if you throw that party, then you can be there to swoop in at just the right moment and... No, that is a terrible plan that never ends well. Stop! Vinny takes care of the rest of the invites via the Facebook MySpace mashup fake social media webpage, inviting everyone. Well, almost everyone. Tom takes care of inviting Kate personally, and awkwardly, and the school bullies, well, they just find out about the party on their own.
I saw the event page. We saw the event page. You invited everybody to come on my face.
So if they get to come, she gets to come, whether Tom likes it or not. Not much he can do about it, as when he gets home, Mom's already gone off on that business trip, leaving his present behind.
Not the same shitty bike again.
I mean, this isn't the first time? Does he just, like, have a pile of spare bikes in the backyard? However, that night, one of the paper invitations flies off with the wind, making its way into the graveyard. Yes, that graveyard. The very one where Stitches was buried 6 years ago. Oh, well, probably not going to be an issue. It's another beautiful day. Hey! Ah, jump scares. That's how you know they are true friends. Vinny, Richie, and Bulger have arrived to get everything ready for the big party. At least to the best of their ability.
Hey, did you get the crap paper?
I bought skins.
You want skins?
Is that what you meant?
No, I meant crap paper. But don't worry, it's not even his first party in like 6 years.
Half birthday party, half drunken teen party. Or more like 98% drunken teen party and 2% drunken teen... You know what? Fuck the paper. With decorations and drinks accounted for, it's time for some good old-fashioned delinquency. And everyone's invited. And I do mean everyone. For you see, that invitation ended up on Stitch's grave, giving him the in to come back. or it's the fact that he never finished the party and this is the first party Tom's had in 6 years. You know what? This plot point's multiple choice. Strangely, despite the party starting, things are still very damn slow in this part of the movie. It's also kind of confusing to edit because to try to keep it interesting, they keep jumping back and forth between reanimated Stitches and the party.
So literally, picked up a sniper and just took off all three of their heads, like boom, 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 straight away. It was incredible. Like, I'd never done anything like that before. Straight after that, I went running down into the pit.
God, it's like me every time I try to be social. In case you're wondering if any of this is plot relevant in the slightest, well, Richie brought a hash cookie and passes it around, but uh-oh, Tom thought it was just a regular cookie.
I ate it.
You ate the whole thing.
Oh, Jesus, man, that's like the equivalent of like 40 joints.
The answer is a pretty conclusive no. The edible episode is relevant for about one scene, and then we forget it and never comes up again. That scene being when Kate shows up, of course. I guess an hour or two passed in the blink of an eye. No bother, he's at best mildly high. Guess he's just got a hell of a tolerance for this shit.
I didn't know you knew so many people.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming.
Fuck you.
That's Jeff. Funny guy.
Tom, just because her boyfriend's an asshole doesn't mean you surround yourself with assholes to try and convince her the two of you have something in common. Strangely, despite Tom's general awkwardness and the couple of seconds the movie takes to remember he's supposed to be higher than Tommy Chong hotboxing with Snoop Dogg, things are going pretty okay with Kate. That is, until Dan shows up and rather bluntly points out that Tom's friends are actually on the other end of the room.
Do you want me to go?
No, don't be silly.
Yeah, Tom. Don't be silly, Tom. You don't have to go. Don't be silly.
But damn it, he's still one step ahead. Kate likes asshole boyfriends, and Dan has taken the opportunity to showcase he is even more of an asshole than previously realized. How will Tom ever get into her pants? He doesn't leave and be silly just yet, though. It takes a killer clown rushing into the party, knife in hand, threatening his life to get him to run.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Look at the face. It's only Paul, you're dope.
I know. We've clearly established the guy's a douchebag. This results in Tom's friends rushing to his aid, as pretty much nobody likes Paul or Sarah, and the situation is diffused. Spare the fact that Tom is still kind of injured from the fall.
Where's the first aid kit?
Pantry.
You have a pantry? I'm on it.
Get it? Because Bulger likes to eat. It's like the characterization of Goku from Dragon Ball GT. Unable to handle the situation, Tom runs off to his treehouse for isolation. Not to worry, everyone knows just what to do.
Hey! Where'd you put that bottle of vodka?
It's an Irish film. Check between the couch cushions. Wait, no, that's whiskey. So while Bulger's in the pantry eating and Kate follows Tom up to the treehouse to make sure he's okay, Paul is running into the problem that he's really gotta pee. Fortunately, there's a bathroom just upstairs. Even better, we're finally getting to the part of the movie that's not the slowest episode of Doherty's Kuos I've ever had to sit through. But most scenes in this movie happen at the same time and are therefore chopping into each other, pacing be damned. So while Paul is attempting to squirt his daisy, Tom is regaling Kate with the story of the opening and that weird clown egg ceremony, and expositing how he spent the last 6 years doing all kinds of research to try and explain it, but came up empty. Except, of course, for the fact that he did get some information as to what the hell the clown egg thing is.
They call it the spiritus singularum, the uniqueness of spirit. Nobody knows where the tradition comes from. It's been around for as long as the clowns have.
An actual tradition, though not depicted the most accurately in the movie, of course. The clown eggs, for one thing, actually look really impressive in reality, and the other thing is it has a lot less to do with dark, necromantic, evil magic, and more to do with registering a copyright. While Tom riddles Kate, Paul runs into Stitches, back from the dead, and up to his old tricks.
Fucking here!
Still, it seems not really terrifying, just mildly annoying. So Stitches ups the ante by tearing the man's arm off in veiny, gory glory before jamming his own arm down Paul's throat to retrieve a cute widow bunny wabbit, still interspliced with Tom and Kate.
And Tom, just for the record, not every party ends with a dead clown.
No, but only the best start with one. So Stitches kicks this party into high gear by kicking Paul's head clean off his shoulders, submerging it into the waters below. While the partygoers remain none the wiser. Sarah, for instance, has no idea where he's gone off to, but no bother, she can double down on bullying Tom by taking the opportunity to pick on Kate as well.
I do hear you're more partial to the old blowjobs, yeah.
What? How else would you acquire the name Blowjob Kate?
And the town's youth is cursed with a dreadful lack of imagination, antagonistic Sarah. Nothing a good headbutt can't solve, but what's this? It seems Stitches has even more undead clown powers, removing his nose to track down his next victim. That will be Bulger, still in the pantry, still stuffing his face with canned strawberries.
Let's see if we can find room in there for dessert.
Oh, Jesus.
Ah, yes, the most generic horror sound ever. Unfortunately, this movie's score leaves a lot to be desired. Seemingly realizing that, the party cranks up some cutting crew, leaving them unable to hear Bulger's cries of agony as Stitches uses the can opener to crack his skull open, scooping out his brain and making a lovely little dish out of it.
I just died of your arms tonight.
No matter how many gripes I've had with this movie, that shot alone has made the whole thing worthwhile. As nobody has noticed the body count rising just yet, the party continues. Vinny makes his moves on Mary, and by that I mean grabbed her boobies, which strangely enough has worked out for him. Don't ask me how, I really don't think this is a movie to go to for relationship advice. Either way, Tom and his trusty telescope know how well his friend's night has gone. And that damn generic horror chime strikes again. I was beginning to enjoy myself there. So Tom realizes he must call Vinny and let him know he's in danger! Eventually, right now Sarah's the one staring down the butchering bozo. Unfortunately, the heel to the throat, while it looks incredibly uncomfortable, does nothing to stop Stitches from taking her out. Impaling her head with a parasol, gushing blood everywhere! And Vinny's still making out with Sarah, in case you forgot. Sarah taken care of in glorious, gorious, slow-motion close-up carnage. Stitches tracks down his next target, but the cat interrupts long enough for Tom to decide, fuck it, he's got to warn everyone about the danger.
This clown who's dead, but he's not dead, and he died, and he came back, and he's in my house right now. You need to get out of here.
You're a fucking clown.
Okay, Tom, they've done enough to earn their horror movie debts. You could just leave them now. Unless you want to stick around long enough to guarantee that they're going to be killed by Stitches, and they're going to have to engage in some hard drugs, be unrepentant assholes, or maybe engage in some animal cruelty.
Let's see how many lives you've got left.
1, 2, 3. Is this a bigger, meaner clown going to make him pay for that? Well, Tom's trying to stop him at least. Of course, explaining to Kate that the clown that died here 6 years ago is back and murdering everyone goes about as well as you would imagine.
So do you want to go upstairs?
No, I don't encourage this shit.
No, I mean, do you want to go upstairs?
Oh no, who could have guessed that Dan was such an uncaring asshole? Seriously, at this point his voice would just sound like white noise to her. It's getting late anyway, and everyone who was just interested in partying hard until the end of time have up and decided, fuck it, it's time to go home. At least most of them, so when Tom grabs a knife and starts making his way around the house in not the most reassuring of fashions, Vinny can be too distracted by the knife-wielding maniac in front of him to notice the knife-wielding maniac currently disemboweling Richie, twisting his guts before his very eyes.
Woof, woof.
Aw, it's the most adorable torture killing I think I've ever seen. While this is going on, Tom did get Vinny to look upstairs, much to Mary's chagrin. But remember, Richie isn't dead yet. Thus, Stitches pumps him up until he can't pump no more. Honestly, Richie probably feels way better now that the pressure is released. Upstairs, Vinny finds the bodies, and that's all the convincing he needed. Unfortunately, telling Mary about the killer clown doesn't work when Mary's already gone and you're now within arm's reach of the thing. Tom's here to help this time, though, stabbing Stitches in the back. Though all that manages to do is piss him off. The toss a blanket and kick the shit out of him strategy seems to work, though, allowing the two of them to slip away. They think they'll be safe, as long as they get back to the party. After all, there's no way that Stitches will show his face in front of everybody, like he does mere minutes later.
Everybody happy?
Damn! We've already used all the seltzer and we don't have anything left to defend ourselves with! And would you look at that, it seems all you need to do to cancel a party is to barge in the window and threaten everyone's lives. Don't actually do that, it's obviously a joke. Well, Stitches knocks Kate out and Tom refuses to run for his life without her. Thus, he does battle with Stitches in the kitchen. Yes, we've established the undead clown cannot be killed, but this reminds Tom that eggs do in fact exist, and thus he and Kate must head to the cemetery at once and break Stitch's egg to kill him. Awful convenient we establish that Tom just so happened to have 2 bicycles, but how will Stitch's follow?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's too bad he doesn't still have the clown car from the beginning of the movie. Though I guess mileage on the thing was a joke. They're starting to run out of ideas of what kind of clown things Stitches can do to these kids, as we see when Tom and Kate make it to the cemetery and Stitches tight ropes above. He's just tight roping, like, nobody's dying here, and it seems like a pretty crap means of getting around, but damn it, he's a clown. Either way, Tom gets the egg, but before he can destroy it, blow! Stitches knocks him out. He's got Tom and Kate right where he wants him, only needing to decide who to kill first. Which is all the time Vinny needs to bookend this little tale, tying up all the loose ends. Smashing the egg, breaking the spell, and releasing quite fresh-looking yolk. Well, I guess it does make sense that necromancy is a hell of a preservative. Therefore, happy ending! Stitch's egg is cracked, meaning the reanimated clown explodes in eggy messes all over the cemetery. And Tom's finally moving the fuck out of that house! Not to worry, thanks to Kate, his little telescope can now be one big honkin' telescope. So was the plan that you invite her and her asshole boyfriend over, and then when the inevitable killer clown shows up and takes out half your friends, you swoop in and reap the rewards of her love? Sounds like the worst plan of all, but, you know, fuck it, maybe I just went to the wrong parties. However, just when you thought it was safe, we find out. The damn thing ends in sequel bait! Not that I have a problem with the sequel to this movie, it's just, well, you don't need sequel bait for that, and it's been 8 years, I really don't think we're gonna get one. Anyway, that was Stitches. And it's got a lot of really good points to it. Sandwiched in some crap. Truth be told, there's a lot to like about this movie. The presentation is sharp and the acting is never really bad. The parts with Stitches are a lot of fun to watch and the characters are written well enough that even when plot-wise they're as one note as possible, they feel enough like real people that it doesn't come off quite so bad. The problems, though? Well, there's not many, but they are always looming. For starters, the middle of the movie is just a slog to get through. Nothing really happens. Yeah, there are spooks here and there to try and keep it from being too boring, and indeed it would be harder to get through without them, but said spooks are barely plot relevant and thus can still be ignored entirely. Arguably worse than this is the soundtrack, which, outside of a few minutes of film, is oppressively generic. It sounds exactly like a low-budget horror movie is supposed to sound, without a shred of creativity, in stark contrast to the writing, the jokes, and the kills. The good parts are just about as strongly as good, though, with frickin' amazing gore effects. Now, this could turn off those of you with weaker stomachs, like, goddamn, I did not expect Stitches to be a movie for gorehounds, and yet, here we are. Combine that with the intentionally cheesy jokes out of Stitches delivered in the classic raspy undead clown way, and yes, I am willing to sit through the slower pacing to get to the carrot at the end of that stick. Overall, Stitches is a movie about a clown that comes back from the dead to kill people. That's really all there is to say about it. It doesn't try to be anything other than that, and for the most part it works. Unfortunately, the middle of the flick is pretty much just waiting for the clown to show up and kill people, and aside from a couple of notable exceptions, the score leaves a lot to be desired, holding Stitches back from true glory, coming in at 3 parasols penetrating the posterior of your peepers out of 5. Still highly recommended if you're into clown horror or are simply a fellow gorehound. Thank you all for watching. I've been Shado, and remember, don't invite undead clowns to your parties unless you're okay with cleaning up glitter, confetti, and viscera.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Fuck you.